Hello, 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 hello. Test, test. Volume looks good. Make sure these other streams are muted. Muted. Okay, cool. So, how's everyone doing? I think the last stream I did was almost exactly a month ago. Oh, let's go ahead and turn that off. So, yeah, long time no see, because the markets have been fairly uneventful. So, what was there to talk about, right? First things first, I'll go through some housekeeping stuff. So I kind of have been alluding to this for on and off for a little bit. But originally I was going to do like daily 2-3 minute market overview videos, market recap videos. And they'd just be like little short blurbs of me just going through my daily take of the market setup. But to be honest with you, it becomes a little unmotivating to do things for free. So, and that's just my 100% honest answer as to why I never did it. But luckily, it seems like I'm going to be working with Bitcoin Magazine to do something like that on via their platform. So that's going to be something that's going to be interesting to work out. So basically the idea is going to be that every day, rather than having like an article like 2 or 3 times a week, sometimes even 1 time in a week if it's particularly uneventful, I'll be doing videos for them on a daily basis, hopefully on a daily basis, 4 or 5 times a week, and they'll just be like little like 2 to 4 minute videos. They won't be live, they won't be long form. They'll just be me talking about the day-to-day market trend. So keep an eye out for that. The first video is supposed to come out this week. It's new for them, it's new for me, so there's just like a lot of like finalizing stuff that we have to do to get like the whole video submission and all that process like worked out, so it's a little bit more streamlined. So keep an eye out for that. It's gonna be fun, it'll be exciting, and it'll be a win-win for everyone. What else? Yeah, so this stream is going to be particularly based on the crypto markets. I'll talk a little bit about stocks at the end if people are interested in it, but there's a lot of stuff going on with the crypto market, so that's going to be my primary focus for the next 45 minutes to an hour. A lot of stuff to talk about. So yeah, let's jump right into it. First, we'll start looking at Bitcoin, of course. If you've been following my my Bitcoin Magazine articles, this has been my like master chart that I've been kind of updating as time goes on. But I'll go ahead and break down this anatomy real quick and get everyone up to speed. So let me get my Wacom tablet over here, and so I can sketch on this thing. Okay, let me see. We're good? Yeah, we're good. Let's make this black though. Or red. Orange. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, we'll make it a little bit. There we go. Okay, cool. So these are daily candles, of course. And I'll go ahead and break down the support levels, how I got them. I'll break down the resistance levels, and I'll talk about what all this like annotation is and why it's on my chart. Okay, so first, this level down here is pretty self-explanatory. It's just the lowest close on the daily chart. And then this little dashed line has been a point of interest, where finding support on here has been leading to impulses up into the low $4,000 range. So finding support here has been like a preliminary point of interest in terms of like returning to the test of this like red area. So that's where this dash line comes from, and this zone right here is the most important in my opinion. So we see here that this was a bit of a selling climax, right? So if we zoom out, and we look at it like this, we can see here that this whole move down resulted in a selling climax first and foremost. But the reason why I have this level outlined particularly notably is because look at, that's where the highest volume took place. So there's going to be a lot of interest both in the bull and bearish perspective, because that's where a lot of business was taken care of. We only hung out down here for a little while, and in my opinion, this level right here is the most important support level. And it also coincides with, like, if we were to do a proper like trading range, it's also approximately like the midpoint of the trading range, right? So it makes sense. Trading ranges quite often have these like midpoints where the market will pivot above or pivot below, and I'll actually outline a few of those on some altcoins later. But yeah, so that's where that blue zone came from. And you can see here that, you know, because it's got a big hairy wick, it's kind of helpful to outline more of zones instead of discrete lines. You know, with stocks, you get kind of a little bit more discrete points of interest. In crypto, we kind of get these zones. So you'll see it quite often is more useful to think of it in terms of zones instead of like a very binary, discrete line. So this line is derived from this point of interest here, and then we can see here that, you know, there's the bottom of this zone. You can kind of outline it here with the closing of these candles here, and of course we see this breakthrough of this zone here and a retest of the zone. So right now we see our two support levels. This is going to be our we'll say this is like our absolute support level, and this is our mid support level. Okay, let's talk about the resistance that I have on my chart. It's kind of a large zone, right? It spans between about 4K, let's say about 4,000, 4,000, and about 4,250-ish up here. All right, and that's the way I derive this zone. Is quite simply just going to be, we look at these large impulses in and these large rejections out, and if we kind of ignore the wicks, we can get the bottom part of the zone. So you see here, the close and the close line up very nicely, and again the close lines up very nicely, and then we can see the far reaches of the market interest is going to give our upper boundary. And then we can find these like intermediate little spots, like I have these dash lines in here, because it's like, if you think about it in terms of like climbing a staircase, right? This vertical distance can be broken down into like these discrete little zones. So it's just a visualization tool for myself personally. All right, so we see here 1, 2, 3, 4. Why the hell is that on my chart? So we see that the first time we arrived in this red zone, the red zone, it got immediately spat out. Okay, it had a very violent entry. Let's make this red, black. So we had a very violent entry and a very violent rejection. Okay, we had a very violent retest and an even more violent rejection. Okay, so this is 1, 2. First test, spat out, retest, spat out. Okay. Then after the market kind of meandered downward, didn't even make it down to this low. We saw the volume is drawing up, and then, you know, we saw this retest of broken support. So a lot of times you'll see on like crypto Twitter, you'll see this like this annotation, an SR flip, or support turned resistance, sometimes people call it. All it basically is the idea that levels that were previously held up as support then become resistance, and often they get retested, and if you can break back above it, they become support again. So this zone was like kind of a pivot point in the market. So you can see that the market held above here. Once it broke down, it retested, it rejected. Okay, we came back up for another retest, and we broke above it and retested in support, and now we're finding really nice support on this blue level. Okay, so why is this zone significant? Well, aside from the fact that it's, you know, in the upper part of the range, which is kind of a bullish piece of price action, ever since we found our bottom here, our local bottom, you know, this previous support test, the market volatility has been dying down significantly. And what I mean by market volatility is, I mean like the intraday volatility of like these large impulses up, these large impulses down, you know, stuff like this, this violent zigzaggy stuff is actually starting to die down, and it's in a really nice kind of channel thingy here, right? A lot of ways to describe this sort of price activity, but I'm kind of referring to it as an upward drift, because it's like, if you think about like classic Wyckoff schematics, you sometimes see this meandering creek going downward. Well, sometimes you see it going upward as well. And what that can often mean is that depending on the direction that it's meandering, if it's meandering upward, depending on the context, that can often mean that supply is drying up. Okay. One of the things to support that argument is we see all three of these rejections occurring on less volume each time. Okay. And not only that, but the spread is also kind of drying up as well. So we see a humongous spread here. If you want to call this whole thing the rejection, you know, the second rejection gets a little bit smaller, and the third one ultimately is the smallest on the least amount of volume. And not only that, but it comes down and gets a nice support test, and it gets respected. So now we find ourselves kind of meandering upward. So where does that leave us now? Well, as of last night, we saw this like really almost perfect wick retest of this zone here. So let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit and see what sort of information we can gather here. Actually, I'm going to switch charts here because I have one already noted up for us. Okay, so let's leave that there. I'll throw you right here. And make that full screen. Okay, so let's clean this up a little bit so it's a little bit more stream friendly. I'll get rid of this. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and we'll zoom back in. So I have different levels annotated here. So because this is a different exchange, I just took the same sort of principle, and I made my little red zone here. Okay. I don't have the blue support level outlined on this particular chart, but you can imagine that the blue level would be, you know, right here, something like this, you know, right in here. So let's look at the hourly, maybe the 2 hour time frame, and we'll get a little closer to the immediate price action. Okay, so let's see. Let's make this black so we can see a little bit better on the stream. Is that better, or was it better with red? We'll leave it black, and then I'll draw on it by hand. Okay, so on these lower time frames, you don't get these really, like I said before, you know, we kind of have zones rather than discrete, like binary. If it's above this, well, then it's going up, and if it's below this, then it's going down. So we kind of get these like kind of dodgy little trading ranges we can look at. But this actually has a lot of characteristics of a reaccumulation on low time frames. Okay, and what does that mean? So we see this nice buying climax. We see an automatic reaction. We see a sign of strength. We saw a lot of supply hit the market on this thing, right? But so I think I put out a tweet. When was it? 3 days ago, 2 days ago, and it was like it was like perfect time. I couldn't have timed it any better, but I had a tweet like right in here, and I was like, you know what? This current market activity is sketching me out. So I closed all my longs, and we had this, you know, gigantic, you know, we can call it a shakeout, but we had a gigantic pullback, and this coincided with a lot of support tests. So if you go back to the first chart, it'll be a little easier to illustrate. We see this black zone, this black line that I have outlined here. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in on the 2 hour chart, but This is where this black line is coming from. This black line is, you can kind of see that every time we've impulsed above this black level, we've been rejected, right? So even if we look at these like micro rejections, we see like 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll call this 4.5, right? Not quite 5 because it's not really an impulse like these guys. So we'll call it 4.5 because it's drifting upward, okay? So I'm going to zoom in on this hourly time frame or 2-hour time frame, and that's where this black line is going to be derived from. So I just wanted to explain that to you guys. Okay, so we zoom in a little closer. And you can see here, if we look even on these low time frames, we got these like cute little tests of that red zone that I was talking about, the red resistance band between 4,000 and 4,200. 4,000, oops, 4,000 to 4,250. That's what this whole thing is. Okay, and we saw these like tests, but what we didn't see is we didn't see a, if we make this another trading range, we didn't see the market hold support above this midline, and that's really what I personally would want to see. Is I want to see this come down, you know, maybe make a little spring sort of thing where it drops below, gets a nice little liquidity grab and bounces up and holds support here. But we didn't do that, right? We started drifting, and right around here, this is the rationale as to why I said I think we could see a violent rejection there. It's because it had the, prior to this rally up here, it had all the it had potential signs that this is actually a distribution trading range, right? If you're familiar with if you're familiar with using trading ranges to as part of your trading strategy, you know that the first half of accumulation and distribution are identical. So until you get more information, like what happens when it penetrates the bottom of a trading range, you don't really know what's going on. And so as the trading range matures, you can get more and more confidence in your setup, right? So right in here, I was kind of feeling like we were going to pop down through the bottom, and because this would have been our 4th rejection of this red zone, I was thinking, you know, there's a really good possibility that we're actually just going to go, right? Because that's what we've done 3 times before. I was thinking that there's a really good possibility that we're going to reject for the 4th time back down, but we didn't. And that's where things start to get interesting. So we went up into the red zone. We didn't immediately get slapped down, or I'm sorry, we did get immediately slapped down, but we bounced. And then we shoved down below support. And then we saw this very strong, very confident level of buying. Okay. So we see high volume, cool. We see high spread, cooler. But not only that, we see a flip, this SR flip, the support resistance flip here. This is, so I put out a tweet last night that said, I think it was like right in here, you know, I said, we're showing signs that this is potentially a shakeout, retest setup, where this would be the retest. And this would be our jump across the creek, right? And what I wanted to see was the market pop up into here, because that would be a support and resistance flip. Right now, support's holding up, so that's cool. So it seems likely that we're going to retest this high. So I know I just talked a lot. I'm going to wrap up what I was about to say here in a second. When we put that into the context of this whole rally, this whole like drifting rally, it seems logical to me that if the market wanted to drop here and here, it very well could have, but there wasn't a terrible amount of selling interest. There was, but it was equally matched by buying interest. So it seems logical to me that after the 1, 2, 3, 4th attempt to submerge the market, sellers are getting tired and the bulls are just absorbing it. They're sitting on the ropes. You know, they're playing rope-a-dope with the market. And it seems logical to me that we're going to continue this drift, right? So what I'm looking for, you know, and this is completely independent of all the bullish setups on altcoins. This is strictly looking at Bitcoin. It seems logical that we're going to continue this stair-stepping thing. We're going to pop and test the next support level, which for us would be a pop above this and a retest here. Okay, whether this holds this level remains to be seen, but it seems logical to me that that is the next step, is to pop above and retest, you know, either this support level, or this support level. It just depends on how interested the buyers are. But at minimum, I'm expecting this to pop a new high and retest here. If we can hold this level, well, then it's game on, because that is a definite change of character for the market. We've already seen a change of character in the market, in that the volatility is really dying down, and it's a very confined upward channel, right? We're seeing this stair-stepping breakout, support, retest, breakout, support, retest, and now we're just kind of moseying through this band. And it's going to get very interesting very soon, because guess what? Everyone who shorted over the last 3 months is about to be underwater. Everyone below this red band is going to be underwater, and they're going to have all their stops, all their liquidation is going to occur right in here. So if we get if in the event that we pop through this level, this thing's going to fly, because there's going to be, not only is there going to be buying interest, that's going to be combined with a short squeeze. Short squeeze. That's an E. So this has a lot of breakout potential. But as I said in my tweet, that the battle is just now starting, because we're entering into the battlefield here. This is the battlefield, and if we can make it through this alive, the market's just gonna fly, because there's not a whole lot of resistance between here and you know, the upper 5800s, low 6K area. Like up in here, there is nothing holding the market down for a very long time. Okay. I just spouted about some nonsense. Questions? These blue levels are also near the yearly open level. Yeah. Yes, they are. Please tell me what you think about the 6 green candles in a row on the weekly time frame. Yeah, they look like 6 green candles in a row on the weekly time frame. They are kind of drifting out of you know, the volume is tapering off, which isn't the best thing in the world. But it also could be that buyers are getting less and less anxious the closer we get to the upper like band that I had outlined. So that's not terribly surprising. Any other questions about this stuff? Can you check out that? Okay, so daily Ichimoku cloud. First time since January 18. First time, okay. Yes, okay. So another point in the another check in the bull column, right? So the other day I kind of wrote out the itchy checklist. That's a check. And right now Bitcoin is meeting all of the criteria for a bullish setup. Okay, I'll walk you guys through it. For those who don't know what the Ichimoku cloud is, it looks kind of like a clusterfuck, but it's actually pretty, once you understand what you're looking at, it's relatively straightforward. It can be very complicated in terms of like your trade setup and your risk management. I don't use it for any of that. I just use it to get an objective view of the market. Okay. One of them, and this is in my opinion, this is one of the most useful ways to implement Ichimoku. Okay. So first on the checklist is going to be, is the price above the cloud? Price above. Yeah. Right. I need to make my little pen smaller. Price above. Price. I can't make a damn arrow. Price above cloud. Check. Okay. Here's the cloud. Here's the price. Okay. 2. Maybe I'll make it a little thicker. Erase. Okay. 2. I'm going to walk you guys through the anatomy. So part of the anatomy of the Ichimoku cloud is there's a slow, a fast, and a lagging. I call them moving averages, but they're not really moving averages, but they are the equivalent of a moving average. In that this has this red guy and this blue guy are relatively slow and fast in terms of their period that they use to generate their trend. Okay, the blue guy is called the Tenkan. It's the fast moving average. Red guy is the slow moving average. It's called the Kijun. And the lagging one, which is this yellow guy, is called the Chiku span, or the lagging span. Okay, you don't need to know any of that for what I'm about to show you, but in case you're interested, get out of here. Okay, let's go ahead and continue this checklist. Okay, is the slow / fast moving average above the cloud? Above, god damn it, above the cloud? Check. Is the Chiku span, the lagging span, this yellow guy, above, there we go, that was a better one, above the cloud? Yes. Okay, do we have a bullish cloud, which means, you know, we have this like green guy, bullish cloud? Check. Is the price above, and this is going to be the most relevant. Shit, I'm running out of space. I'll put 5 up here. Is the price supported by slow / fast moving averages? Check. Okay. So what does that mean? That means that the price is just trending above the Chinkin and the Kijun, and it's found support. Right? It's clearly finding support here. So if you could rate this setup in terms of, you know, out of 10, this would be a damn near 10 out of 10 on the Ichimoku setup. The only reason why I say 10 out of 10 is because I would like to see the lagging span. I'm sorry, the slow and fast moving averages, the Tenkan and the Kijun, having a more decisive uptrend, you know, something like that. But beggars can't be choosers. This could be the beginning of an uptrend. But either way, setup is like 8 to 9 out of 10. Okay. So I hope that answered your question. Oops. That's the fuck. Okay. Any other questions about this Ichimoku cloud setup? It's really great, and I'm actually going to reference this in the upcoming altcoin setups. So if you have any questions about it, we can revisit it. Or do you have any questions about Bitcoin in general before I move on to the altcoins? Do you think alts can hold if Bitcoin does not? No. That is a pipe dream. If Bitcoin goes down, everything goes down. Point blank. On crypto Ichimoku settings, double, we still are inside the cloud. I do not use these doubled settings. I don't care to use them. They seem a bit arbitrary to me. But that's just my opinion. So here's an example of like the trending, slow, and fast moving averages. Something like this. See how they're in like a very decisive downtrend. I would like to see that in the uptrend. That would be great, but beggars can't be choosers, like I said. Also, we're finding support on the 50 EMA, which is nice to see because it's been the first time we've done that this entire bull run. So if we take off this entire bear market, I meant to say, we've been rejecting that level, and now we're actually finding support on it. So that's the first time in the last 2 years the market has found support on the 50 EMA. It also seems very likely that we'll be testing the 200 EMA, which is a common theme you'll see in bull markets. We retest it from the upside, and we have yet to do that on the downside in a long time. So it seems likely that we'll, at minimum, retest this. Any other questions? No other questions. Okay. Okay, so before I go ahead and move on to the altcoin charts, I'll go ahead and shamelessly plug my trading group. If you like this kind of analysis, you like what I have to say, or you're interested to learn the way in which I view the market, go to bitcoinschmitcoin.com, and for the next, how many days are in March? 31 days. For the next 4 days, you can use coupon code SPRING19 and get a discount on your membership. So if you've ever been interested in joining, now's the time to do it. Go to bitcoinschmitcoin.com and sign up. It's a 24/7 Discord with lots of people. We've been going on for about 2 years now, going strong, building a nice foundation with solid traders. So again, go to bitcoinschmitcoin.com, sign up if you're interested in doing that. And yeah. All right, so let's move on to the alts. Okay, so right now, in my opinion, one of the most bullish, there's a handful of alts that are just like really, really nice looking right now. They just look as perfect can be. So I'll start there and I'll work my way down. So right now, in my opinion, one of the best charts out there is Cardano. I don't give a shit if you think it's a shit coin. I don't give a shit if you think it's a scam. I don't care. I'm telling you right now that in terms of like technical setups, in terms of like the cloud, in terms of pattern trading, in terms of support and resistance, Cardano is a very, very good setup for a long sustained move. Okay, so first and foremost, we see this really, really nice Adam and Eve double bot. Okay, so right now this is the USD pair, and I'll go to the Bitcoin pair as well. So, but right now we see this really, really nice it's called an Adam and Eve double bottom, which means you have a typical double bottoms look like look like, what the fuck? Oh. Typical double bottoms look like W's. You know, because we see a bottom, another bottom, so two bottoms. It has this like neckline kind of thing, and then it breaks out. Okay, there are specific types of double bottoms, one of which is called an Adam and Eve double bottom, and that's characterized by a long move, a weaker move that has kind of a rounding bottom. So this is your Adam. I'll say Adam. Eve is the rounding one, and then it has this neckline. So you can draw the neckline two ways. You can draw it slanted, or you can draw it horizontally. I drew it slanted because it kind of represented like, this is kind of a shitty little downtrend, but it was just a way to judge the momentum of this little rising uptrend. So this little guy is not really part of the anatomy of the Adam and Eve double bottom, but this pink guy is. This is called the neckline. Neck line. Here. And you can see here that once it broke this neckline, we had this like meandering sort of thing going upward. And once it broke the neckline, that's when the volume really kicked in and the price spread really grew. And this was the breakout. So the measured move for an Adam and Eve double bottom is calculated really simply. And that's just, you just take the distance between the neckline to the bottom of Adam and project it upwards. So we see here about a 0.02752. This is 0.02752, but who gives a shit? It's like just a little bit different. I did it pretty quick. But anyway, this is where you can expect to see this move projected. That's the typical, we call it a measured move. Measured move. Or a PT / price target. So that's where this price target came from. It's just, this is how you typically measure that sort of move, right? So this is a really great setup. And when we look at the, where is it? When we look at the Bitcoin pair. So first I'll show you this little bro just at face value. It's making a really, really perfect, beautiful head and shoulders bottom. So we see this is another bottoming pattern we see sometimes. This is a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder. And again, here's this common neckline you see. And here's the diagonal that you see a lot of times on necklines. So you take the shoulder, the neck shoulder, and you draw a little diagonal. And you can see here that once it broke the shoulders, when it started to accelerate a little bit, and once it broke the horizontal, that's when it really flew. And again, this is pattern trading 101. Head and shoulders bottoms, Adam and Eve double bottoms are very common bottoming patterns that we see in crypto. So again, you just take this, you project this move between the head and the neckline, and you just project it from the neckline upward. And so that's where we get this. So Cardano still has a lot of upside potential left on it. It looks very promising, very high volume, very high spread, and it looks ready just to rip the market a new asshole. Oh yeah, and then again, if we look at the Ichimoku cloud, this is just perfect setup, right? We went through the checklist. We see the Chiku span above the price finding support on both the Tenkan and the Kijun. All four of these things are trending above the cloud. We see a bullish cloud. It's as perfect can be. We see a strong uptrend for the Tenkan and the Kijun. This is a 10 out of 10 setup if I had to rate it. As good as it gets. We did see a nice, in my trading group, we did see like a really nice entry opportunity right here, and I'll explain it to you. Let me get rid of the cloud. Cloud is so cumbersome sometimes. So if we look at the USD pair, I'll explain where I entered the market and why. So if we look at this horizontal here, where the close is. So if we draw like a horizontal here, this is going to answer your question, the Roth. What you said, what's the definition of an SR flip, support resistance flip? Okay, so previously there's a level right here that was acting as resistance, and we know it's resistance because price moved into the level and it came back out. Okay, but what was a buy signal for me was the close of this red candle right here. So you see this little guy, right? Yeah, right there. Boom. When we see this green candle move above the level, which is great, and it closed. That's perfect. But when I see a red candle come down and close again above this level or at the level, that is a buy signal for me. That's buying into support, and it coincides with a macro pattern that I'm seeing with this, this Adam and Eve double bottom. Double bottom. You like that shorthand? Just made that up. 2x bottom. And so got a nice entry right here just before the breakout. But yeah, that was the rationale that I used to enter that trade. And you can see here that, following that candle on the daily, just massive amounts of volume, very high breakout spread, and we're up and out of this level very violently. So yeah, and here's another example of an SR flip right here. So we see this dashed line, previously resistance very clearly, right? It cannot maintain, but after it breaks above it for the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth time ish, if the price never closed back below, and it had I seen this entry, I would have preferred to enter here, but I'll take what I can get, and I'll enter on a support resistance flip here. Okay, so keep in mind with the support and resistance flip, because this is going to be a common theme for the setups I'm about to go through. Okay, let me get a sip of water here. I'm dying. Okay, so next on the list, and the list is long, is EOS. Where you at, bro? Okay, EOS. Another beautiful daily classic pattern. Okay. If you've been around crypto for more than 0.5 seconds, you're familiar with this meme of all memes, the bull pennant, the notorious bull pennant. Right? Everyone likes to talk about bull pennants. They're so hot right now. It looks. I'll show you on the Bitcoin pair first, because it looks better actually. Okay, the boundary's much more defined. So bull pennant is just an impulsive move that consolidates sideways. So we get this impulsive move. Boom. And we consolidate sideways with converging boundaries on the lower and upper end. Right? So we see support rising, resistance lowering, and most importantly, to give added confidence in the trade, we see consolidating volume down here. Okay? And if you're really fancy, you're going to slap some Bollinger Bands on there. So all three of these things, the price consolidation, I guess it's four things: price consolidation, the impulsive move upward, the squeezing Bollinger Bands here, the consolidating volume, they all give us very high confidence in a trade. And yeah, I got a long signal yesterday, and got long like right in here right before it popped out. So that was nice. And so how do we calculate the measured move of a bull pennant? Just very rough and dirty is you just take this, the anatomy of a bull pennant is you have this, like, obviously a pennant, that's this thing, but it also has a flagpole here. And so to take the measured move of a bull pennant, you take the flagpole, and right at the point of the breakout, you just project that. that distance there. So, you know, you see 44.6K Satoshis, 44.4, whatever, who gives a shit. But yeah, that you project that on the breakout, and that's where you get the measured move for this guy. So, no plan to take profit just yet. We do see a little bit of an SFP, a swing failure pattern on the daily right now. So that might get a little hairy, but this volume is nothing to thumb your nose at. This is very, very high. Oops. This is very, very high volume. So the likelihood of a reversal here seems kind of slim, but that's something that, you know, keep an eye out for. And of course, if we shift our gaze over to the USD pair, we get something similar, right? Same sort of idea. Right? All right. Next, I have this on 15-minute chart because I'm a madman. I'm watching this on these manic low time frames. Next, in terms of current bullish setups, I'm watching Quantum, or Qtum is the ticker right here. So here's the here's the Bitcoin pair. Again, we see another head and shoulders bottom pattern here. But what's most important and what gave me the buy signal is, yep, you guessed it, support and resistance flip. Okay. Let me draw a line here. So if we draw like a little burrow right here through the trading range, we said this line is a very common point of interest for the past since August. So almost a year at this point. Well, 3/4 of a year, right? And now for the first time, we're finding support on this level. And so I took a nice fat long right in here because of the support and resistance flip. Okay, this is an aggressive entry, mind you, because typically with head and shoulders patterns, you want to wait until they break out to confirm the pattern. But with these alts, a lot of times you don't get the same entry that you would normally get with like stocks or something. So I look for a more aggressive entry, and that's what you get here. So you get a support and resistance flip for the Quantum Bitcoin pair. And if you look at the US dollar pair, you see something very similar as well. So you see this nice support and resistance flip here as well. And it's the first time we've started to consolidate above here. And if you actually look on like lower time frames, like the 2 hour or something, it actually looks like a really nice reaccumulation trading range with this perfect little spring here. This adorable little spring. Look at it go. Would you just look at it? So fucking cute, right? And here would be your trading range. So, yeah. So we got our spring. It bounced out, and now we're in the upper part of our trading range. And if you look at this on the daily time frame, this is making once again another Adam and Eve double bottom. So we've got our first Adam, we've got Eve, and here's our neckline. You know, here-ish. Oops. Where's my line? Here-ish is the horizontal neckline. Right? So a breakout above here and a close above this would confirm a sizable breakout, or a sizable measured move, a sizable price target. And that price target is about $1.36. So, oops, let's go here. So this is the conservative one. You could even move it. You could even slide this up even higher if you wanted to do that, because these wicks are, you know, they're hard to judge the market by. So the aggressive estimate would be $1.76, which is actually really nice. I love when stuff like this plays out, when it's like the price target goes into a level that you'd expect to see it reverse. That's a beautiful thing. So someone's asking, would you consider Scicoin, Bitcoin, an SR flip based on the pair's sloped trading range? Let's see. We'll look at it together. So Scicoin, Bitcoin. Okay, not Scicoin. God, I need, or can I get rid of any of these things? Oh, look, I already have, I have a duplicate here. I'm such an idiot. So I already had this labeled. So there you go. There's your quantum Adam and Eve double bottom, support resistance flip. This was a buy signal, so I bought here. Shit, what was the question? Scicoin, Bitcoin. Okay. Do I consider an SR flip based on the sloped trading range? Sloped trading range? Are you talking about on a weekly? I'm not sure. What's slope? Are you talking about this thing? This little bro? I actually haven't been looking at the Scicoin Bitcoin chart a lot. I've been looking at the Scicoin USD chart. I think that's a little bit more handy, which I'll go over that because this is kind of a mess. I mean, look at this thing. Get your shit together, Scicoin. I'll show you the USD chart. It's a lot cleaner. So the USD chart is looks a lot prettier. Okay, so I just have this little trend line so I can judge my momentum. Okay, so we see a nice little trading range. It doesn't quite look ready for markup. You see it's still getting hung up on the preliminary support area, right? It's not quite a support resistance flip, so it's not like I'm not adding any more to my position here until I see it find support, here, or more relevantly here above that. That would be great. That would be a great buy signal. But right now, the fact that we're not even managing to find support on this level, I'm not selling any of my Scicoin, but that's not a buy signal for me. If we can close above that and get a little bit more support above that, that'd be cool. But right now, it's not inspiring a whole lot of confidence at the moment. What else? Where's Decred? Where you at, boy? Where's that thing? Decred. Here we go. Decred. Where's Decred? Okay. So, what is this doing down here? I feel like this shouldn't be here. Oh, that's the midline for my trading range. Okay, let's go ahead and lock that so I don't move that. Actually, this needs to be adjusted a little bit. This needs to come down here. Okay. So if you look at Decred, or Decred, whatever the fuck you want to call it, we see a really nice trading range. And I'll show you where this red line comes from. This is a weekly level. So if we take this weekly close and we just extend it, see a really, really, really nice support and resistance flip here. Okay, it was resistance and now it's finding support. Okay, so it's looking good so far. It had a nice selling climax. We see very nice consolidating volume. Boom. And we see this really cute little jump across the creek here. And what's most inspiring about this is the fact that it jumped across the creek and it's finding support. That's the most important thing. This is a buy signal for me. I'm going to wait and see where this daily candle closes, but yeah, my plan is to buy this, buying the support. Buying down here would have been better, But yeah, I had to close out some other positions to free up some capital. I'm still waiting to take profit on my EOS long. And when I do, I'm going to shift that over to Decred. Right? And if we look at the Bitcoin chart, we see something very similar here. It's currently resisting this resistance level. But, you know, if we can get a move above that, that'd be great. This is another reason why I haven't been like super anxious to go long on it. The USD pair looks good, but it's not outperforming Bitcoin. So I'm not entirely super interested at the moment to do business with DCR. But, you know, if we can move above this and find support, it'll perk my ears a little bit. But, you know, I'm in no rush to jump into that position at the moment. Someone's saying WABI is showing some nice BUEC. God damn it. What the hell's going on here? That's weird. WABI. Yeah, I mean, the Bitcoin pair actually looks pretty good. So again, we see the support and resistance flip here. This is common theme. Had a nice spring as well. If we draw a trading range like this, maybe like that. Yeah, it had a pretty nice accumulation period. And it looks like on lower time frames, yeah, this coin doesn't look half bad. I would be mostly interested to see how it reacts to this level. You know, this stuff up here. But yeah, it looks good so far. It's finding support on what was previously resistance, so step in the right direction. We saw a spring, right? We saw a retest. We see a last point of support, and then it moves up. So that's good. And now we're getting some nice volume stepping in here too. So yeah, it's a good looking chart. Did I already go over WAN? No, I did not. Wanchain. Wayne. How do you pronounce that? Wanchain? That's a horrible fucking name. You couldn't think of anything better? Is that an acronym for something? WAN? Wanchain? Horrible name. Okay. Horrible name, but a good chart. So, all right. So again, we see a really nice trading range. I'm always really reluctant to trust Binance's volume. I don't know. It always just seems sketchy. Like, look, out of nowhere, there's just a fuckload of buying. Like, I don't know. It just sketches me out. But yeah, other than that, it's a pretty good chart. It's finding support on this important level right here, which is the preliminary support level. So that's good. If it finds support on the wick, that's good. It was previously resistance, but even better, it's finding support on the close, on the candle body. So even better. Yeah, it says this doesn't look half bad either. What does the Bitcoin chart look like? Yeah. Not terribly excited about this Bitcoin chart, though. I would like to see it find support on this level before I got terribly excited about it. Right? Like, you gotta remember that, like, at the end of the day, altcoins don't mean shit if Bitcoin's not going up. And they especially don't mean shit if they're not outperforming Bitcoin. So use Bitcoin as a metric to see if you should be either long on use Bitcoin as the metric to see if you should be long or short, period, point blank. Secondary, you look to see if you should be long or short Bitcoin or an alt. And if the alt is not outperforming Bitcoin, why the hell do you have money in it? You know, if you don't see a setup for it to outperform, then it seems kind of like a fool's errand. Not to say they won't make money, but it's just like your money can be more productive elsewhere. And right now, it's not exactly set up for the most success. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents. Did I talk about EOS? So someone on Twitch asked me if I talked about EOS already. Yeah, I talked about EOS like 20, 30 minutes ago. What are some other coins I'm looking at? So I'm currently eyeballing Tron. It doesn't look immediately bullish, but I think there's a decent entry to be had on Tron. I'm waiting for it to dip below this level. You know, maybe like a spring or a shakeout sort of dealio. I would like to see that. But I don't have a particular reason to be doing business with Tron and you know, immediately. Do you think alts will hold if Bitcoin does not? No, I don't. There's a really common misconception that like alts and Bitcoin are separate, but they're not. They're all the same thing. You should be looking at alts and Bitcoin as if they're one asset, and alts can be used as a multiplier of gains. Okay? So if Bitcoin's going down, there's no fucking reason to be holding alts. And if Bitcoin's going up and your alt is not outperforming Bitcoin, there's no reason to be holding that alt. If it's outperforming Bitcoin, that's when you would look at the Bitcoin to alt ratio and you would trade that, right? Ripple going to 0. Oh yeah. So where's Ripple? Yeah, so Ripple, I don't know, dude. Ripple looks like kind of like a shithole, to be honest with you. It looks a lot like Bitcoin did before it broke its 6K floor. See how it's kind of just like boom, 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 and it's kind of just like dribbling around. Like it looks like Ripple is one bad day away from like blowing its brains out of the office. if you want to hear my technical point of view. But yeah, if it breaks this floor, there's not a whole lot holding it up until it drops all the way down to 14 cents. Not only that, but if you look at the where is it? If you look at the fucking XRP to Bitcoin ratio, I mean, just look at it. It's just slowly bleeding out. If this doesn't remind you of Ether Bitcoin in the middle of summer 2017, I don't know what does. This looks like the slow bleed that Ether had right before it just slowly shit itself. OST Bitcoin pair, multiple tests of resistance. Thanks. Let's take a look. OST BTC. That's what you said, right? BTC? Yeah. Simple token. Whoa. Can you guys hear that? There's two dogs fighting right outside the street. People walk their dogs that are like not dog friendly. Blow my mind. Did you mean to send me this? This is very volatile. My God. Is it better on Bittrex, maybe? No. What the hell is that? I don't see a particular reason to be long on this chart, in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. I would like to see it break this level and find support up there. If it could do that, that would be a reason to do business with that coin. But other than that, it just kind of looks like a little shit coin that's going to be a pump and dump flare up. Which, if that's what you're into, then cool. But I like to look at coins that I could ride over multiple days, multiple weeks, hopefully multiple months. That'd be ideal, you know. Are you still short on XLM? So, to be honest with you, I was never short on Stellar. I just didn't have a way to short it. I sold my spot Stellar a long time ago, but I didn't short it because I didn't have a vehicle to do so. Kraken has banned me, or not banned me, but they've shut down my account on their exchange for unknown reasons. So it's like one of the few exchanges you can actually short it on. What other coins you guys looking at? Long corn and crypto. Long Amazon 2-hour, 4-hour SFP. Short Pepsi 2-day SFP. Where do you think the next? Oh yeah, so let's talk about Litecoin too. Thanks for reminding me. Okay, so Litecoin's actually that little Charlie Lee sure knows how to pump a shitcoin. So if we look at the daily chart of Litecoin, shit, I wish this wasn't here. Pretend you can see these candles. So right now, if we look at like the weekly time frame, we see this like weekly order block here right before it's just like epic rise to what is it, to 370, whatever. Right now we're consolidating above this, and that's huge. This is a break of market structure. We broke our downtrend. We're long outside the downtrend, and we're currently finding support on this weekly order block, and that is a huge statement. Okay, and when we look at the daily time frame, we're in this really nice supply and demand channel. And when we look at the 4-hour time frame, we see a really nice reaccumulation trading range. And on top of that, we see a really nice reaccumulation trading range on the Bitcoin pair. So man, I thought Litecoin was going to top here. You know, not like top, but like locally top and maybe come back down and, come back down here, revisit this level or something. But fuck, dude, this thing is just keeps going. So go with the flow. You know what I mean? And certainly if Bitcoin, oh, look at that. Yeah, it's popping upward. Certainly if Bitcoin goes, then Litecoin's going to go, and it looks poised to outperform Bitcoin. So, good for Charlie bucks. Charlie coin all the way. How's little EOS doing? Where are you at? Dude, EOS is such a monster. My God. Look at that. Look at that fucking green candle. Ridiculous. No pullback. Everyone who shorted this, vaporized. EOS bulls were like, oh, that's cool. That's fucking cute. Thank you. Boop. Right? I think it's going to do what Cardano did. Just keep going. Just trap, and then liquidate everyone with a nice short squeeze out of the top as it makes its local top. But look at that. Zero pull back whatsoever. Just keeps going. It's ridiculous. And it's clear for a path all the way to this high as well. And then here's the terminating price target there. So yeah, if you're interested, again, I'll go ahead and shill my my trading group. Again, if you like my analysis, you like my style of viewing the market, and you're interested in learning it, or just want to, see what markets I'm trading. I basically pretty upfront with my positions that I trade. This past few months have been pretty good for me. You have your down months, you have your good months, but these past few months have been particularly profitable for me. So yeah, if you're interested in joining the Bitcoin Schmitcoin community, trading community, go to bitcoinschmitcoin.com. And for the next 4 days, you can use coupon code SPRING19 for a discount. What is it? 50% off? 50% off. I forgot my own damn discount. So yeah, go check it out. Join the trading group. We talk about stocks, alts, metals, oil. What else? Let me check my channels here. Video games. We even have a guy in our group, Jack. He's got a little bit of a following, but he trades CSGO skins and he trades Bitcoin collectible coins, like those old coins from like 2012. So if you're into that, we got someone for it. Apparently, he's our resident Cabbage Patch doll collector. Did I end up losing any funds to one broker? No. So fortunately, one broker, it ended up being really cool. So everyone who was on one broker got a chance to get all their funds out. So I did not lose any funds. I mean, I got pissed because I literally shorted the top of the S&P 500 drop, and they force closed my position. So that fucking sucked. But other than that, I didn't lose any money. Just lost some of my pride, which you can't get back, unfortunately. One broker sucks. All right. Any other coins before we peace out for the night? I'm gonna go try to do some trivia, because it's trivia nights on Wednesdays, don't you know? Beer and trivia. This Litecoin chart is looking pretty good. Oops, that's Bitcoin. Dude, this new trading view feature where they have the full screen thing in the bottom right corner is kind of annoying. Love Trading View. They're one of my sponsors, but that was a less than favorable move. I wish they wouldn't just change the UI like that. Yeah, look at this. It's closing on this local high. That's pretty cute. Yeah, Litecoin looks pretty good. It is diverging a little bit, but I don't use SMI on these low time frame stuff. Oh yeah, so Son, thanks for whoever mentioned Neo. Yeah, let's talk about Neo. Neo's pretty good. So Neo is one of those ones that, just like Litecoin, has broken out of its downtrend very clearly. I haven't even looked at the cloud on this. How does this thing look? Oh God. Ooh, not the best. We dipped below the cloud. Not the best cloud setup for. Oh, this is Neo Bitcoin. Sorry, I want to look at the USD pair. Let me look at the USD pair real quick. Where are you at? God, I'm so disorganized with this shit. I think it's right. Yeah, here. So, Neo looks good. Oops, one. Oh, what the hell is this? So, Neo looks good. It's, again, one of those coins that broke out of its downtrend. This looks like a clusterfuck, but I'll unpack this here in a second. When we look at the, oh, that's 36. I want 36, 360. So when we look at the 360-minute view, the 6-hour trend, what do we see here? We see a support resistance flip, right? And on these lower time frames, it's in the form of a, I'll go ahead and stretch that out here. It's in the form of a, oh, my channel moved. Sorry, got distracted. It's in the form of a stepping stone reaccumulation sort of setup, right? So we see, I'll go through the history real quick. So we see this bottoming action. We see this is a classic double bottom here, right? We see not an Adam and Eve double bottom, but just a W sort of dealio here. It's got a nice neckline, and it never goes back below this level. So it had nice bottoming action, cool. And then it entered into this blue trading range. Let's get rid of you. Entered into this blue trading range, and it had a really nice reaccumulation. I'm calling this reaccumulation because it's like technically it's not accumulation because it's not at the very bottom. So this would be like a double bottom and then a reaccumulation setup. And we see a really, really nice trading range. So we see the creek, and then we see the jump across the creek. And this is, so for a lot of the setups that I discussed today, they're in this mode right here, where they're doing the support resistance flips. And when you see this, the BUEC, the back up to the edge of the creek, that's what you want to see here, right? And then as we moved onward and upward, oh my God. I don't know if that picked up on my screen, but some dude with a really small penis just drove by my house and just had to let us know how big his engine is. So we see here, most importantly, it fails to break back down into the trading range. And not only that, to add extra confidence, we see higher lows, right? And we see consolidating volume here, right? And this sort of action where it's like kind of like a little parasite to the last trading range, it's called stepping stone reaccumulation, and it looks pretty ripe. So Neo could be ready for some big things. Maybe it's moving out of its parents' basement finally. It's finally gonna get a job and do something with its life. Or maybe it's just gonna be like all the other altcoins. Oh, one more thing. Zcash. So Zcash is doing something pretty interesting. So first of all, Bitcoin pair is at an all-time low, right? USD pair is not at its all-time low, but pretty damn close. And when we look at the Bitcoin pair, it broke out of this gigantic falling wedge and is making this really nice inverted head and shoulders. So shoulder, head, shoulder. You should know this by now. And here's the neckline. So Zcash might be ready to do some stuff. That'd be pretty cool because Zcash has been in a prolonged downtrend for a while. And when we look at this thing, this looks like a nice little trading range right here. So if the USD pair can find support on this level, I'll be looking to do business on this coin as well. All right. My fucking throat is so dry right now. Also, Neo USD, Adam and Eve. Neo USD, Adam and Eve. Yeah, it's kind of an Adam and Eve. So there's a specific type of Adam and Eve double bottoms that have a handle, where you see the Adam, you see the Eve, and then you see this like handle sort of thing. So yeah, I could see an argument for this being an Adam and Eve double bottom for sure, which would give it a pretty steep price target. It would be it'd be a $4.50 move. So if it breaks out of this neckline here, it would be, yeah, a nice retest of this low here. So yeah, I mean, maybe it's going to do some big things. A nice confluence of support, resistance, and projected price moves. Can't ask more. Can't ask for more than that. It's pretty good. Okay. Oh, look at Bitcoin. So proud of you right now. Oh, Ether's doing some nice stuff too. So yeah, Ether's looking. Oh, look at that. Everything's breaking out. Well, howdy doody. Good evening. Any chance to look at EOS? Yeah, I actually have looked at EOS a couple of times in this stream. You'll just have to rewatch it. It's like 45 minutes back at this point. So some people are asking on Twitch, what is the code? The code is Spring 19. It's scrolling across the top of the screen at the top of the stream. All right, what else are we looking at here? God, I need to put my glasses on. I'm having a hard time looking at these words here. What are your thoughts on the price of Bitcoin during another possible economic recession? Dude, I don't even know. I really don't know. That's a hard one because it's never happened, right? Like Bitcoin's so new that it hasn't been around long enough for a previous economic recession. I don't know. I wish I had a better answer for that. I've been drawing some interesting correlations between Bitcoin and the S&P 500. But at the end of the day, it's just a guessing game. I have no idea what it's going to do. If I were looking at crypto in a vacuum and I wasn't aware of what the stock market looked like and how bad it looks, then I would say things look pretty fucking bullish. So I don't know. I wish I had a better answer. Sorry. Ether Bitcoin looks ready. Let's take a look. I don't know if Ether Bitcoin looks ready. I've got it in this pretty big thingy. Right, this could break out here, but it's not anywhere near the top or bottom. So Ether Bitcoin's kind of in no man's land. I haven't been trading. To be honest with you, Ether, I know everyone's like very ideologically attached to Ether, but it's been one of the least interesting charts to trade. So I really have not been paying much attention to it at all. When we look at the Ether USD charts, not Easter. When we look at the Easter markets in the U.S. economy, when we look at the Ether USD market, I mean, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, right? Like, it hasn't been following Bitcoin up. It's been underperforming a lot of the large cap alts. Not a whole lot to say. It hasn't found support on anything significant. It's in the middle of its supply and demand channel. It hasn't even tested this upper resistance, so there's not a whole lot to say about Ether. Yeah, there's nothing really going on there. I mean, on low time frames, we see a nice setup here for a support and resistance flip. Right here. But other than that, you know, whatever. You are bearish equities? Yeah, I'm pretty bearish on equities. Yeah, I'm bearish on the equities markets. And I can talk about that if everyone's done talking about crypto. I can talk about equities if you guys want to do that. I'm down for sweat quitties. Yeah. Schmojo6. I'm not a jukebox, my man. What are you trying to say with that? I'm not a computer. You guys remember that those a lot of you guys might be too young to remember this, but do you remember like the original viral video with the G.I. Joe PSAs? Those might still be on YouTube, but just saying that reminded me of the one where the guy's like, I'm a computer, stop all the downloading. If you don't know who that is, then I'm officially too old to be talking to you. I'll touch briefly on the equities markets here. Where are we at? Boom. So I'm not going to go terribly in depth with this because I don't think a whole lot of people give a shit about the stock market quite like I do. But at face value, we see some heavy divergence on basically every momentum indicator. This is the S&P 500. This is SPY, the ETF. But if we look at this in terms of a trading range, we're looking dangerously close at a failure to hold support. So technically, as someone brought up to me the other day, if we look at the monthly candles, we're in a downtrend already. We see that we're not closing new highs, we're closing new lows. You know, for all intents and purposes, this is a downtrend. And when we look at it on a daily scale, I'm sorry, I'm gonna show you this weekly supply and demand channel. Look at this thing. Look at this gorgeous ass supply and demand channel. And things are getting turbulent right at the top. And if this doesn't remind you of what Bitcoin did 2 years ago, a year ago? What was it? 2017? No, 2018, a year ago. This doesn't remind you of what Bitcoin did a year and a half ago. Then I'm not sure what to tell you. But this definitely looks like a dead cat, little bouncy poo. It's a big dead cat bounce, but it looks like a last point of supply rally, and that also looks the same on Fang. If we look at Fang, it's making a gigantic head and shoulders. Right, here's your head and shoulders. It's supported by the Dow Jones. Same deal, right? Failure to make new highs. And what else? NASDAQ, QQQ. Also looks like shit. So across the board, not the best looking thing. You know, maybe it only comes down here and bounces, but I don't know. There's a lot of things lining up. There's a lot of reasons to be bearish, and yeah, so that's where I stand on equities. Didn't Bitcoin also go above the channel at the top? Yep, it did. So if we look at Bitcoin, like look at this. Look at this little bro right here. Right? This and this. See? And if we draw a I swear to God I had this thing outlined already. Did I have it on Bitfinex? Bitfinex? Yes. So yeah, if you were to draw like a parabola or whatever you want to call it, there's a very clear violation of the parabola to the upside, and once it breaks this hypodermic trend line, it's a GG. You know, type F to pay respects, and that's what we did here. So we see this violation of the parabola, and we see this hypodermic just going buck wild, and it violates it. So yeah, and we see the same thing on Fang as well. So if you look at this discretized little parabola bro, we see it violate it, tries to rally above it, and fails miserably. It's even more apparent on the weekly. Right? Okay. So, not going to get any like details of like stocks or anything, but yeah. What question? What arguments do you see that point toward reaccumulation instead of distribution? For the macro trading range? Are you asking me for the macro trading range? What details do I see that? For one, volume could be an argument. Typically with last points of supply, we want to see decreasing volume rather than flat volume. We see a very strong buying response. Oops. See a very strong buying response here that shoves it all the way to the upper boundary. Well, I mean, we'll have more information when it comes back down, right? And if we can get that SR flip that I've been talking about, then that would be obviously a case for a shakeout. And rather than this being a sign of weakness, this would be a shakeout, and this would be a jump across the creek. But the thing that doesn't have me leaning and jump across the creek is we don't see like expanding volume. We don't see, we do see this drop, we do see this retest, but we don't see expanding volume. We do see widespread, but what I would like to see is a sign of sponsorship. This doesn't look like sponsorship to me. This looks like a cascade of shorters just getting their fucking asses handed to them. Every time they try to short, bulls push it up and they get liquidated. So it's just like you can see all these gaps in here. There's just gap, right? All like this whole way up. It's just gapping all the way up. And it honestly kind of reminds me of like a rocket that's going up and it's running out of fuel and it's just like sputtering. It's like, and then eventually it's going to go. But yeah, we'll definitely have more information if we get a retest of this, this sort of area. But right now it's showing the signs of distribution to me, and especially given the context of everything. So. Okay. Any other questions? I've been streaming for the past hour and 48 minutes. Or I guess technically hour and 30 minutes. But yeah, if you guys are interested in joining my trading community, by all means do so. You have the next 4 days to get a coupon code. It's spring 19, as in the year 2019, and as in the season spring. Go to bitcoinschmitcoin.com and sign up. Everyone's welcome. What else can I say? Oh yeah, keep an eye out for the Bitcoin Magazine shorts that I'll be doing. Of course, I'll be posting about them on Twitter. So if you follow me on Twitter, then you'll definitely be alerted to that. But yeah, again, go to bitcoinschmitcoin.com if you're interested in learning my trading techniques. If you're interested in what I have to say, or you just want to be a fly on the wall. A lot of people do that too. I'm pretty open about all my trading that I do, all my positions that I do when I enter and exit. So some people just like to be a fly on the wall and see what I have to say about that. So yeah, go to bitcoinschmitcoin.com, check it out. If we do some sort of cool thing where we just like blow through the bottom of this resistance level, then maybe I'll do another stream relatively soon. But other than that, you'll find me on Twitter. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, my brain is fried. Try streaming for 2 hours and see where you stand. I challenge you. My throat is so dry. Okay. You guys have a great rest of your night. I'm going to go do some trivia. Bye.